Everyone, this is Steve Rozenberg with Mynd Property Management, and today I'm joined with my good friend Brian Waters, who is our portfolio manager in our Tampa division. Brian, thanks so much for being here today.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for having me, Steve.
So, maintenance emergency. This is something that nobody really knows how to handle a lot of times. They don't know what to do. It is this scary thing that normally people say happens at 2 a.m. I personally have never had one at 2 a.m., but I know that's the fear. So in Tampa, right, there's rules, there's regulations, there's policies and procedures. How would you say is the best way to handle a maintenance emergency in Tampa?
Sure. A lot of people are definitely scared of maintenance emergencies and what to do and what happens next. But the first thing that we do, especially here at Mynd, we actually have move-in orientations with the tenants. The first day that they move in, we go over the house, we go everything with them. For emergencies, the first thing that I do is always set those expectations, right? You want to go through the house. I always give the example, say there's a pipe up in the house and it starts gushing water out and it could damage your TV. It's in the house, it's damaging everything. You want them to not just panic, call me. You want them to stop, realize what to do. Hey, let's assess the situation. Let's find the water shut off to the house. Bam, let's shut off that water to the house. Let's save the investment.
Stop the emergency, right? Yeah.
Stop the emergency, exactly.
Yep.
So really getting them comfortable with the house is a huge thing that we love to do. We're not just putting them in there and saying, good luck, have fun. We really want to set those expectations, make sure they're comfortable with where the water shutoff is. So therefore they know what to do with an emergency. Water can ruin a house very quickly, and I don't want to hear someone call me with the water trickling in the background. I want them to call me after the fact. Hey, this is the case. Hey, great job. Way to save the house, way to save your property or personal property. And let's now make sure we get it addressed and fixed properly. Get our tenant out, their tech out there immediately the next day, or if it's night, whenever we can.
Yeah, you hit on a lot of very important things. And I think that as an investor, I think there's a couple things, if you're in this and you're self-managing or you're not sure, the first thing I would say is make sure you, as well as the resident, know what is an emergency. What is the definition of emergency for everyone? And make sure that that's clearly defined, that a light bulb going out is not an emergency, right? Is it making the house unsafe, uninhabitable? First of all, is the first thing that I would think. And then next would be, what is the property code? And what does property code say as far as what is the legal definition? Because what I think is an emergency, living out in, let's say, California or some other state, and go, oh, their air conditioning's out. It's not a big deal. I don't have air conditioning in California. It shouldn't be a big deal. But I'm sure there's code that says, there's rules that say within certain degrees or whatever the terminology is. And I think that's very important to understand what is the law, because that is what dictates emergencies, and course of actions, right, that have to happen. Absolutely. Due to that.
Yeah, here in Florida, AC is definitely big, right? It gets hot. It gets up to 100 here. We got humidity. It gets brutal in the summer sometimes. So having no AC is an emergency. Really, again, kind of leaning back to it, set those expectations. If they call me at 10 o'clock at night saying, hey, the AC is out, realistically, there's not much we can do. We will get a tech there the next day, make sure that they're aware of that, but then also act, right? The next day, we need to get a tech there, making sure that the AC is working. If we need to get it replaced, hopefully we do have those reserves set aside, so therefore we can get that AC unit installed, working properly. If not, tenants can actually go to a hotel, and that could be an owner's expense to keep them in a place that has AC. Children, they can't be without cooler air, especially if it's super hot. So kind of setting those expectations, also, having the reserve, kind of being prepared as an investor, setting aside those funds, and really just making sure that you're prepared, right? Being prepared.
That's so important. I think the reserve, a lot of people, they miss that part. And I think that is vital. That's a great point. And I would just say final is, when you have a resident in your property and it's an emergency, it's an emotional time for them, right? That is their house. That is their belongings. They're living there. And I think the most important thing you can do is to over communicate what is going on. And so you really let them know step by step what's happening, because again, it's an emotional situation. We all know that sometimes when you're emotional, you may say or do something that is not logical, but it's emotional. And so when you let them know everything that you're doing and what is happening during the emergency, and you're communicating with them back and forth, at least they know it's not falling on deaf ears, and they know that you are doing something to resolve and fix the situation. Even if you are in the background, if they don't know that, they're going to assume you're not doing anything. So again, I would just suggest, on top of everything that Brian said, which was spot on, I would say communicate. And that's so important. And if you want to talk to Brian or myself, we do not need to manage your property just to talk to you. We are investors also. We want to help you. And if you do want to talk to Brian, if they want to talk to you, how would they get a hold of you?
Sure. I always give out my cell phone. Love talking real estate. So best way to reach me is 813-563-8499. You can shoot me a text or call, whatever's easiest for you. Additional information always on our website, mynd.co. So mynd.co has tons of information, and you can always find my contact information here in Tampa.
That's great. And if you want to talk more real estate and you want to engage, we have an exclusive Facebook group. It is called the Mastermind, MYND, the Mastermind Real Estate Investment Club. There you will have novice investors to very, very experienced people like myself, other people in there talking, engaging. You can ask your questions. You can look up stuff. You can get up-to-date information and feel okay doing it. So go to the Mastermind Real Estate Investment Club on Facebook, or we have a podcast show. It's called The Mindful Investor. It's on iTunes, Spotify, and all other channels. We have everybody from brand new investors just starting out to very high-level industry experts. And we talk to them about their successes and, more importantly, their failures, because I'm sure, like you, I want to hear how they do that, how they champion that, and what they do on a daily basis to make themselves successful. So make sure that you go to iTunes, you like it, subscribe to the show, and you'll be able to get those every Friday. So on behalf of Brian and myself, look forward to hearing from you, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you'd like to keep the conversation going, join our Facebook group.